I need a haircut so bad. Oh my god, I look like a scene kid. Do they even have those anymore? Hi, I'm Jackson Bird, and I'm angry today. I'm really aggravated, just annoyed by everything. So the day that I'm filming this, it's like right in the middle of the polar vortex. It's like super cold outside, wind chills way below zero. The, city keeps being like, it's code blue, don't go outside unless you have to. Make sure like your entire face and all skin is covered if you go outside. So I can't really go outside today. And even though I don't actually leave my house that much, I'm kind of going a little stir crazy because I am just kind of stressed and aggravated right now, and I would like to just be able to go for a run outside to sort of work some of this off, and I can't, so I'm getting cabin fever. And now you get this video about it. Because I've been thinking through okay, why do I feel the way that I'm feeling? Why am I mad at these particular things? And I have come to a couple of conclusions about anger today that I would like to share with you. So the first thing I realized is that the biggest reason that I'm mad is just because I'm stressed out. There are some really stressful things happening, decisions that I need to make, things that need to be dealt with both in my professional and my personal life that I don't want to deal with. They're scary things. I'm not entirely sure what decision I want to make about them. And so I just don't want to deal with them, and not dealing with them is stressing me out even more. And so I realized that I am seeking out things to be angry about to distract me from the stress. Or I am stressed, and so I feel the energy and the need to be angry, so I am purposefully trying to find things to actually be angry about, instead of dealing with the things I'm stressed about. I've been doing all of these self-destructive things, reading Twitter threads from idiotic bigots at InfoWars, or transphobic comment threads, or just any transphobic news out there. I've even been going into my unfiltered comment section just to see all the hate that people are saying about me that gets caught in the filters with all of the words that I'm nope, never gonna see comments that use these words. I'm just reading them just because I want to be mad. I want to have something, I guess, that I can actually pin my anger onto. These are things that I never need to do. No person who wants to be emotionally and mentally healthy should ever do things like this, but I'm doing them. I just want to be more mad. And then when I've had my fill of that, I'm okay, let's block all this out and let's just focus on work. Because I remember back when I was in school, anytime that I was really upset, mad, stressed out about something that was happening in my life, right after a breakup, I always got the best grades in the weeks after a breakup because I would just block out all the stuff that I was mad about and just laser focus onto my schoolwork. But that doesn't really work now. I could just focus on studying history or doing calc problems or learning vocabulary and not think about what was going on in my life. But I can't just lose myself in my work these days because my life is my work. As an internet creator, as a trans activist, these things are inextricably tied into my work, or even just running social media for clients. I have to look at the internet, I have to look at the news, I have to look at all the terrible things happening on social media and in the news, which are largely the things that are stressing me out, or even if they're not the exact things that are stressing me out, they're gonna lead to more stress. So I can't even do the losing myself in my work thing. I can't even channel all of this energy into really productive work because it's just gonna create more stress and anger. And maybe that's an adult thing, because I bet a lot of our stressors in adult life are our work. And so losing yourself in your work isn't exactly an option because that's what's stressing you out anyways, except for when life is stressing you out. Then maybe you can lose yourself in your work. People do that a lot. People like me who overwork and don't have personal lives because we just lose ourselves in our work. Ooh, really diagnosing some of my problems today. But another thing that I've realized about anger is that there are certain things that make me angry that probably should, because it's probably a sign that I needed to learn something. I needed to listen to someone. I needed to take a lesson from whatever it was that was making me angry. This is specifically the defensive kind of angry. So as an example, this is not the only situation, but as an example, I get lots of comments on everything I do online every day. I'm a trans person on the internet. I get lots of hate comments. And yeah, those hurt. There are different levels of hurt that they can feel, but a lot of times it's just oh, you're just so out of touch. You have your own problems, whatever, you can ignore it. But the ones that stick with you, the ones that hurt, the ones that make me angry, are the ones that have a touch of truth to them. Things that I'm insecure about, things that I didn't realize that I should have, mistakes that I made, times that I inadvertently hurt someone. The critical comments like that from people, whether it's online or in my life, those are the ones that hurt. And the ones that in my immediate reaction is defensive and angry. And I just want to think that person is totally wrong. How dare they call me out like that? They don't know what they're talking about. They didn't understand where I was coming from. Like, those are all the things that I'm thinking in the immediate fallout. But then I eventually realize, oh, they were totally right. And I'm mad because they were right. And this isn't always the case, but I feel like especially if you're feeling the defensive thing, that's maybe a sign to sort of take a step back, try to see the other perspectives here, realize where, you know what, maybe you missed something. Maybe you were in the wrong, at least in some way. And sometimes it's taken me like years to realize that. Like, I'll think back on a comment that was made to me and realize like, wow, they were so right, and it was something I really needed to hear, that maybe even like subliminally after that started shifting how I viewed things and how I did things. But in the moment when someone told me that, I was just mad at them. I didn't want to hear it. But it's like I needed to hear it. And I at least think it's really important to identify those moments and work through them so that we don't ever just become stuck in our ways. Like, especially as I am starting to have things that I don't quite get about young people, I'm getting extra scared that I will eventually one day become that angry old man who is stuck in his ways and just gets mad about everything that is not how it used to be. I don't want to be that person. I don't want that to happen to me. For the most part, I'm sure it will in some ways, but I'm trying to actively take steps to make sure that that doesn't happen and that I can stay in touch with how the world and people around me are growing and changing. And so I need to use these moments of anger as a sign that I should be listening and thinking through this and working through something and examining some of my own biases and misunderstandings and what have you. Because when you get called out or just critiqued in some way, like, those are your options, right? You can double down and never change, or you can learn from it. And I'm trying to learn from it. And I think one of the challenges there is not just learning from it. That's a whole big challenge, but part of the challenge too is identifying those moments. That can be a tough thing to do when we just get lost in our own anger and ego and get defensive. Because not every time that you're angry, not every time you're called out is it a moment where you are definitively in the wrong. There are times when you're rightfully angry. There are times with the person who was calling you out or critiquing you, you know what, actually, they are kind of wrong. Doesn't mean you can't still learn from it in some way, but it might make your anger a little bit more justified. And just in general means, like, you shouldn't always, like, anytime you get angry, anytime someone makes you angry, don't always assume that you're in the wrong. Like, then you might be changing and growing into misdirections, totally lose sense of who you are, or become a total pushover. Like, you don't want that either. And I do think there is so, like, hugely a place for righteous anger. Rage channeled into activism is great. We need lots of that, always. That is not usually my cup of tea. That's not where I feel comfortable as an activist. Okay, so I know I need to push myself. This is a thing I'm aware of. But I will almost always defend the right of activists to be angry and to be fighting with anger and not holding it back, because that's honestly how we push forward. Like, you might not always like to think that that's the most productive form of activism. Sometimes I think that, but, like, ultimately, if we don't have those people who are going more radically than most of us are comfortable with, then we're never going to move forward. We're just going to be stuck in, like, complacency and all these, like, baby steps and baby steps and baby steps. You're never going to have anyone pushing anyone. It's like in politics when there's a candidate who runs who, like, is not really going to win, but they're really just running because they are more radical and they are pushing the more centrist candidate to have to address those issues. And because the more radical one pushed them, now the centrist one is, like, actually engaging with issues that they wouldn't have otherwise. So there's totally a place for anger and all of that. And also there's just a place for anger, like, in general, that doesn't always have to have a productive solution or a lesson. Like, we are humans, we are going to get mad at things, and it's okay. It's good to have like healthy ways of venting that anger, whether it's talking to someone or going for a run when it's not wind chill of -15 outside. Like, anger is fine, anger is good. And like, whether it is being used to learn a lesson or to like push social action or even just as a healthy form of expression for you, I think there can be a real strength in anger. Like, I think it is good for us. It is that sign, it is that wake-up call that like we need to address something. There's a big mural in my neighborhood. Is it even a mural? It's graffiti. It's, I don't know, it's just this really cool piece of art on this whole wall, and it's the Hulk, which is exciting, but it says strength on it. And I've always interpreted that as much more than just like the strength of the Hulk, like he's a powerful dude, he's just made of muscle basically. But I've always thought of it more as like when I think of the Hulk, I don't usually think of him as like a powerful, muscly, whatever. I just think of his anger. I think about the fact that he is an actual physical manifestation of Bruce Banner's anger. And so when I see that strength written above the Hulk, I think about how there is strength in anger, and how that can be like a superpower if you channel your anger in the right way. All that said, I don't know if I'm channeling my anger in the right way so much today. I mean, I have definitely overanalyzed myself. I have realized a few things. I have learned about a few things, but still avoiding the stuff that I want to deal with and getting angry at myself and projecting that anger in my stress. So I don't know how productive this has been, but hopefully someone got something out of this. If you like this video, if you want to see more videos, usually about trans things, sometimes about waffles, sometimes about random stuff like this, then hit that subscribe button, maybe even hit that notification bell so you get notifications when I upload new videos. Just about every Wednesday around 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to hear from me in between those videos, you can follow me at JackIsNotABird on Twitter and Instagram. Also, if you're so inclined, you can check out my Patreon page. I also have some merchandise, and I have a podcast too. Turns out. Don't update that enough. But yeah, I guess that's about it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.